Okay, so this is for the people who wanted to know how I make videos. It's a really, really long process, truthfully. But we'll give you some quick tools and then I'll explain like what I do right, what I do wrong, that sort of thing. I'm going to go over the Pythra video. And that way you can just get an idea of mistakes that I have made recently in animating or editing and the things I did right. So this is the thumbnail for an upcoming video. All of my image editing I do in a thing called pixlr.com/x. There's actually two versions of that. There's /x and then there's /e. E is much more professional. It's the same program, but it's what's the word? Its UI is different, and you can actually put drop shadows on images that you've put in yourself, which is occasionally useful. That's the only extra feature in E. I learned on X, so it's much easier for me. Over the years, I've developed just a bunch of images and tools that I use. So like this, whoops, that's actually one of them right there. This thing right here, this Amiibo logo, right? I literally, you see the dots right there, right? I took the official like high resolution Amiibo logo and basically I cut it out. And then I have these saved as, I'm not going to pull them up because you'd have to look through my computer folders, but I have these saved as separate files, right? Well, so then I took the Bauhaus 93 font, re-outlined it, because typically Amiibo logos don't have an outline and they need one. And then I put these back on there, right? And so this is probably the graphic that I use the most, because you can see this in pretty much every thumbnail that I do. This is another one, a very recent innovation. One of the things I realized is that rainbows stick out a lot. That's why every time you're walking, you notice a gay pride flag. But so what I did is I took I literally just Googled rainbow gradient, and I found this. Let me make sure that I'm not lagging too bad. I found this, but it was like a full gradient, right? And I just took a box and I cut out the middle, and now I just put it as a border around my thumbnails, and my click-through rate has doubled, literally doubled. If you haven't seen the YouTube post, the amoebadoctor.com post, everything I know about succeeding on YouTube, you should. It's about 6 months old, but I haven't gained much new knowledge since then. I've just innovated. This right here, this min right here, that's actually a min render on an Amiibo base, right? I have a file of an Amiibo base that I use for Amiibo mockups and stuff. This red arrow, which you'll see everywhere on YouTube now that you know that it exists, it's literally like just Google red YouTube arrow, something like that, and it'll probably come up, you know. So I tend to use the same graphics and things. This wallpaper is actually kind of a throwback to my videos from a year ago. I used to use that for every single video. Turns out it doesn't really look that good, but I couldn't think of anything else to put as a background for this. So it's free. This is the software that I use. This is Animatica. I'm going to be referencing this periodically. Animatica, it was like $16 for me. Turns out I actually overpaid because it's usually less. With Animatica, it's really easy. You just add in like a video clip or just a color clip or like a GIF or something, or an image. So you've got base like content, and then you've got overlays, right? And with overlays, this is the most important stuff. So with overlays, most of these styles are pre-made. The Bauhaus and the transcript one I made, although I never used transcript, right? And I just set up a style. I take Bauhaus 93 font. So just go to your font menu and you find, Bauhaus 93. That's the Amiibo font. I have an outline. You basically want an outline on all your text, unless you're trying to be memey. And then I have a shadow, right? A little white shadow, so it stands out against everything. Gets a little bit of a glow, right? And then I just put on motion, And then, I go into, this isn't an Animatica tutorial, but I'm trying to show you some of the technique of what I do, right? So this thing is up for 3.05 seconds, right? You've got a 1.5 second fade in. That's what it means to be opacity. It's opaque, right? 1.5 second fade out. So it fades in, fades out. See? And most of my stuff is like that. I do, we'll say a slide left, slide in, left, saves again, right? This footage is from the Min video. That's just B-roll footage. That's the stuff that plays in the background. Like if you look at my training guides, which we'll get to, you see this. This is like blurred and it's got a slight VidNet on it. So like you can tell that it's going on and it's sort of mildly entertaining, right? But it's not the focus. See? So if I was going to make a guide, then I would just go to this thing, go to the adjust, add some VidNet, add a little bit of blur. Oh, and then turn the sound off. And there you go, right? It's really simple to use. The other thing I do for voiceovers, so I've found that this program that I'm recording this with actually is called OBS. This is actually the best way to record audio. OBS is designed to use whatever microphone is plugged in. I'm using a $100 microphone right now. Although thanks to Brandon, it's probably going to cost us about $150. Thank you, Brandon. So what I do is I actually record a video of me recording whatever script that I've written, because I write scripts now. That's pretty new. And then I go back, not going to save that program, and I come down, extract MP3. I just select the video that I just recorded of that segment. I extract it to an MP3. I use a sound editing program called Audacity, which I just trim out the breathes, the ums and ands and stuff. Basically, I take out all the gaps between words. Sometimes it gets a little bit excessive. I feel like I was a bit excessive with Min. So this program does have its flaws, because once you've laid down the stuff in the beginning, you can't really take it out without readjusting the timing on literally everything else. And in a typical video, misconception, those are pretty short on them. Let's pull up Min, even though she's not out yet. This might get laggy because this is a 10-minute file. My computer is almost 5 years old, so this is going to be fairly difficult. One of the things that you got to understand about Animatica is that if you download a file, it's going to reference that file, right? So my desktop right now is covered in images because that's where my downloads go to. And so this is all stuff that I've used in Min, in the Power Creep video, that sort of thing. Once I'm done video editing for a couple of weeks, I am going to delete all of that because I won't need those images anymore. So you look at, we got 193 overlays in a 9.5 minute video, right? So I was going to go to Pythra, wasn't I? Point is, when it gets too long, it gets really laggy. I guess that's my point. So with Pythra right here, okay, with YouTube, we're going to start at 1 sec. Fine, we'll start at 1 second in. With YouTube, the intro is tremendously important. I'm not going to pull up my YouTube analytics here, but basically everybody, if you don't have a good intro, nobody's going to watch the rest of it. Okay, nobody skips forward, unless it's an ASMR video, nobody skips forward halfway through. You know what I mean? Most of the time, even my best videos lose about 30% of people after 10 seconds. That's pretty common. The way YouTube measures whether or not it wants to show people your video is it measures how long do they watch and how many people clicked on it relative to how many times the video has been shown, right? So you go to the YouTube homepage on PC, you've got 4 rows of 4 videos. That's 16 videos, right? You would expect you're going to click at least one of those 16, which almost always happens, right? So on average, 1 divided by 16, that's 6 point something. I don't fucking know. Basically, you would expect a typical YouTube homepage video to have 6% click-through rate after being seen by tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, basically. And the way that we do that is good topics that appeal to a lot of people, but also things like the rainbow border, because rainbow sticks out against fucking everything. Everything. Having borders in general is really useful, but the rainbow border especially sticks out. What else? As far as the intro goes, the Pythra one's probably the video I feel like I've done the worst on as far as the 3 guides I've made thus far. I've trained the pirate Mythra Amiibo. This is a decent intro. The Pythra actually has better retention than Steve, which is really annoying. They're both like 6 minutes long, but this one has 3-minute retention, and Steve has like 1.5 minutes. To be fair, YouTube pushed Steve out to a lot more people. The way YouTube decides whether or not to push out a video to people is it doesn't actually push the video to people. It finds people who would probably like the video. So let's say your YouTube account, you have 3 things that you like. You're subscribed to a cryptocurrency YouTuber, you're subscribed to Amiibo Doctor, and you're subscribed to, BMX, we'll say. YouTube knows, okay, this kid likes BMX, he likes crypto, and he likes Amiibo, right? So it's associated channels with those topics. My channel is associated with Amiibo, okay? And that's why if you search Amiibo training on YouTube, my Amiibo training guide comes up first, because my channel is associated with it, and also that Amiibo training guide has good retention, good click-through rate, and it's very, very on topic to that, right? So if you want to be associated with a certain topic, you got to really fucking pound that into YouTube's head, and people have to watch you who are also familiar with that topic. You feel me? So like if you've got a guy who, we'll just take me. We'll say that my YouTube channel is only associated with Amiibo, and I watch stuff on my main Amiibo Doctor channel, right? So like that's also my personal YouTube viewership, right? There's actually a lot of playlists that I made that you can't see, although you can see the Doc's workout one. Anyway, so like let's say that I am the Amiibo freak, right? Everything I watch is exclusively Amiibo content. Okay. If I'm watching your Amiibo content and not that much other Amiibo content, but I'm only watching Amiibo, YouTube is like, damn, this kid is getting good click-through, good retention so we can show more ads, and the Amiibo freaks really love his content, right? That's how you get big, because YouTube shows you to the other Amiibo freaks, and then it shows you to the people who at least watch some Amiibo content. Those are like Chalk2Post, Little Z fans, that sort of thing. And then it shows you to the people who like Amiibo in other games as well. And so it's like these circles that radiate out. Okay, these circles that they get less directly relevant to Amiibo, right? Like Smash Ultimate Amiibo training, right? And then like, so my topic is Smash Ultimate Amiibo training, right? And then it's like Smash Ultimate Amiibo, and then it's like Amiibo, and then it's like Nintendo Switch, right? It like goes up a level, right? And so I'm still at the bottom rung of that. I'm still in Smash Ultimate Amiibo training, so I'm trying to associate heavily with channels that do Amiibo. Anyway, back to the intro. Right off the bat, can you hear this very well? You'll probably get some reverb through the mic. Sorry about that. Okay. I've trained the Pyra and Mythra Amiibo. So right off the bat, knowing full well that these Amiibo aren't out, okay, I've got B-roll footage that shows that I'm doing Pyra Mythra. I've got the Amiibo right there. I've got Proto Man for fans of the channel who are like, oh, I know Proto Man, he's the best, right? But then I've also got proof. Oh, look, here's Pyra, here's Mythra, right? So I'm starting you off by shocking you. What? And you can see this in the comments. It's like, how do you get the Amiibo bin files for this? Oh my God, give me, right? So I'm starting off by shocking you, and that at least gives me a couple more seconds on my retention. I've trained the Pyra and Mythra Amiibo. They're pretty freaky. Now, they're pretty freaky, right? That tickles your balls. You're like, ooh, I want to know more. Let me make sure I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. I want to know more. Oh, goody, right? You'll also notice I start with the Wii Sports theme. Music is the biggest addition to a video. Light music in the background. Like the reason, Summoning Salt, the speedrun channel, right? The reason that guy's channel does so well isn't because he's interesting. Everybody's interesting on YouTube. It's because his music is fucking killer, right? I went with Wii Sports because I've never played Xenoblade and I have no fucking idea what kind of music people who play Xenoblade like. But everyone knows the Wii Sports theme. Everyone. And it's sort of lightly associated with exercise and training, right? So it's a good fit. They're pretty freaky. The Amiibo itself is pretty easy to train, but... So right off the bat, we're 5 seconds in, and I'm showing you something else. Here's the thing. You know how they say that people have, that like goldfishes have a memory span of 3 seconds? That's bullshit, but YouTube viewers actually do. They actually do. No joke. So by showing you this like PowerPoint slide thing, big white font for reference, right? And then I've got a little guide. It's got some information. Look at the images here, okay? So these are Pyra and Mythra renders. I've got the Pyra and Mythra render. I've also, now that I look at that, I realize I did that incorrectly. I've also got the Amiibo base under it. So I'm referring to the, referring to the Mythra Amiibo figure, right? But then separately, there's the character, separately, there's the character. Here's the thing. Most people read really slow. I read really fucking fast, which is why it actually hurts me in this video, I think. People spend too much time reading. But anyway, so you've got Smash Ultimate Battlefield background, right? What were we just looking at? We're just looking at Battlefield. I guess it's it's regular Battlefield. This is small. But also, aside from the high quality renders, the impact font with an outline with a shadow, you've got a drop shadow on these. That is a small touch, but it really helps them stand out. Drop shadows are a big freaking deal. The reason you want drop shadows, especially on thumbnails, I don't do it on thumbnails that much, but I do it on text. The reason you want shadows is because you're wired to look at things like a screen that are flat as if it's not flat. A shadow indicates height. A shadow indicates something is closer to you. Well, you're going to notice things that are closer to you than you're farther away, than if it looks like they're farther away. So your best option is a shadow, always. In this case, it's largely an aesthetic choice. You have to understand a specific feature of its AI. Now, because, you know, it's only there for like 4 seconds, but then listen to what I said right here. And you absolutely have to understand a specific feature of its AI. You absolutely have to understand a specific feature of its AI. I'm putting an obligation on you. I'm saying, no. You have to understand this. You need to understand this. Okay? You gotta get it. If you don't get it, you're screwed, right? So I'm tickling your balls again, but I'm also kind of pinching them like, hey, you gotta keep watching because you need to know this. Now, going forward, I'm assuming that you've already watched our general Amiibo training guide. And then, after pinching your balls, I hit you with the sales pitch. You gotta find the expert Amiibo training guide, right? Now, we're 13 seconds in, okay? Look at the pacing of this. Second 0. I've trained the Pyra and Mythra Amiibo. Tickle your balls. You got one thing each second coming up. And then the Wii Sports theme kicks in about 1.5 seconds in. That's in the first maybe 2 seconds. They're pretty freaky. Uh-oh. They're pretty freaky? What do you mean? Second number 3. The Amiibo itself is pretty easy. Second number 4, we have the transition. Second number 5, we have a new image. Things for you to read, right? Reading keeps... If you ever watch YouTube Shorts, you'll notice that some YouTube Shorts that are like professionally made, they have text like flashing on the screen as people are saying it. Okay? And the reason that they're doing that is because shorts are all about retention. If you can get 120% retention on your short, YouTube will show it to 1 million people. All right? So if they can keep you reading and reading for so long that you don't realize that the short has repeated automatically, hot fucking dog. All right? Anyway, second number 5. You to train, but you absolutely have to understand a specific feature of... You're hearing, oh, you absolutely have to understand on second number 8. It's AI. Now, second number 9, it goes down. Forward, I'm assuming that you've already watched our general Amiibo training guide. Second 10, 11, 12, you're watching some B-roll footage. You're amazed that I have a Pyra Mythra Amiibo. You're watching some action in the background. And then I hit you with the colorful image, the colorful sales pitch. It's a high-resolution thumbnail. The text pops out. Notice the shadow, right? And then can be found in the Amiibo University playlist or by searching Amiibo training on YouTube. Here's the thing. I've plugged this in every single guide that I've done. Every single time I post a guide, this video gets 100 extra views. Because everybody who watches it says, oh shit, I should go watch that. And if not, open a new tab, watch that video first. You'll need the information in that. Then I'm hitting with the sales pitch for that video to understand this one. It fades away. And there is, it's literally, I think it's like a... And this one. Mississippi. Yeah. So it's like probably a 0.7 to 1 second fade away. Okay. It's not giving you much time to breathe. Because if you're thinking about anything besides my video, you're not going to watch my video. Watch my fucking video. So then you go to the part 1, right? Part 1, this allows for some structure to it so you can follow along. The Mythra AI special feature. Wii Shop channel music in the background. Everybody knows the Wii Shop channel music. It's calming. It's relaxing. It makes you sit down and think. All right? Pythra AI special feature. Ooh, special feature tickles your balls.
Like with
But then when that cuts to volume goes way down. Cuts down to like 25% because you still need to be able to hear me because my voice is not very deep. Then at the top, I have a disclaimer, red background because you notice red first, some Bauhaus text. There's a lot of new theories on Pythra's AI research still being conducted because this is so unprecedented. I'll have a part 2, put it in the description, right? By the time the Mythra Amiibo comes out, I want to have a part 2, so I'm just going to go ahead and plug it now. This was also because I figured the competitive scene would watch it and be like, damn, Doc's fucking stupid, he didn't know anything, and then start shitting on me, so I'm just going to kick it off in part 2.
Pokemon Trainer, Pythra's.
Now, let's review these seconds right here. So you've got
Like with Pokemon.
second number 20. Okay. 21.
Like with
22. This pops down, right? And then as I'm talking in the voiceover, like with Pokemon Trainer, boom, Pokemon Trainer show. Now there's no fade in for that, right? I'm trying to overstimulate you. Okay. So I've got reading. I've got 1, 2, 3, right?
Pythra is split into 2 different characters in game.
He's up for what, like 4 seconds?
But she only
before I do the same image, the same idea, 1, 2, 3, but between these two, 1 and 2, right?
One set of Amiibo behavior data. This produces a problem.
This produces a problem. What's that? Here's the thing. YouTube is really, really concerned by who is still watching after the 30-second mark. So most people leave by the 30-second mark, right? So at the 30-second mark, I'm saying, oh, there's a problem. If you're still watching, I want you to be watching until the end, basically. And so that's why I'm saying, oh, look, there's a problem. Now, all the information that I'm giving here is also true. Okay, I'm not lying about any of it. So you got to know your stuff. But it's the organization that's most important. Because I could say that, oh, well, guess what? Mythra will come to life and touch your face gently if you train the Amiibo this way. And as long as people are still watching, the video is going to get recommended.
If there's 2 different characters,
2 girls, 1 chip. That's an old internet thing. Don't look it up.
but not enough space on the Amiibo chip to contain behavior for 2 different Amiibo.
There's not enough space. Space on the chip to contain behavior for 2 Amiibo. 2 girls, 1 chip. Ha ha ha. But you were wondering about it 3 seconds ago, and now you know.
Not enough space on the Amiibo chip to contain behavior for 2 different Amiibo. How does the AI work? The Amiibo has 2 different ways of...
Oh, look, another PowerPoint slide. My character training guides are literally just PowerPoint slides with B-roll footage. That's literally what this is. This one is far too text heavy, especially in the second half, in my opinion. But this visual that I forgot to include drop shadows for, which, you see how well see how well Mythra stands out against the white sky? Yeah, she doesn't. You need drop shadows. Anyway, this visual, this flowchart right here, demonstrates everything. I mean, you really can teach damn near anything about Amiibo to people with a visual.
Finding, but it uses the same behavior data. This image pretty well demonstrates it.
Remember the text from earlier? You have the little motion, right? People are attracted to motion. We're hunter-gatherers, okay? Hunter-gatherers means you need motion, right? If something is moving, you can kill it. Well, guess what? Text is moving. Kill it by reading it. Their AI is similar, but not identical, as demonstrated, right?
The Mythra Amiibo gets its behavior data from its training, but the game has a different move algorithm according to the character at play.
Now, this gap right here is actually where I lost the most people.
Behavior data from its training, but the game has a different move algorithm.
Because at this point, you're done reading. You're just listening to me. My voice is not that wonderful. So you're like, oh, okay, I've read this. What else are you showing me? I feel like I get it. Right? I've given you almost too much information right at the beginning.
According to the character at play. This results in an odd conundrum. If you train Pyra to use a move, Mythra will
note the red arrow that's returned, right? Not just good in thumbnails.
Usually do it too, because they read from the same data.
There's also a sequential order to this, okay?
Conundrum. If you train Pyra to
teach Pyra a move,
Mythra
will use it too.
Usually do it too, because they read from this.
They have the same data. All right. The way, this is a law school thing, but the way that judges' rulings are constructed, statutes are typically constructed if-then statements, right? And then judges' rulings on those are if-then because, and the judge adds the because he explains the ruling.
Same data, but they also each have unique AI quirks that the other one doesn't.
So now, the timing on this was really hard to get down. The PowerPoint slide's going away.
AI quirks that the other one doesn't.
When does that go away? Well, it goes away once this has started to move, right? So you've got about 1 second here
AI quirks that the other one doesn't.
of transition back to B-roll, but then we're on part 2. Sequential, right? So I'm hitting you about every, we'll say 45 seconds to a minute with a new part. And a new part means, oh boy, more information. Training with AI in mind, right? We just had the problem of AI, now I'm explaining how to do it.
Let me give you an example. Mythra has double back air edge guarding built in, the same.
Now what I should have done right here is I should have put a little counter, 1, 2, right? Because watch.
Let me give you an example.
I should have put a
Mythra
1,
has double back
2 counter to just pop up, because you're going to see that twice, right? So like I want you to see this clip, but I also want you to see this in sort of like a slight brain fog so that you keep watching and you don't quite get it immediately, right? I want to keep tickling your balls, giving you a little bit more information, right? This is why I say social media is the downfall of society, because all of social media is designed to do this.
air edge guarding built in, the same way that humans use it. Whether you teach her to or not,
You
she'll
play the clip again, in case people didn't catch it the first time. That happens a lot.
sometimes use back air to edge guard all the way to the blast zone.
Now we cut away back to the B-roll footage.
The developers didn't
So now there's a sequential thing. I'm comparing.
blast zone.
I'm comparing Mythra with the double back air edge guard. Yes.
Developers didn't put that same AI function in Pyra.
As I bring up Pyra,
So if you train
Pyra appears and then no. So you've got a comparison, left versus right. Right? That's the ultimate comparison right here.
Pyra to use back air, she'll hit with it, she'll use it once, but she won't do it the same way Mythra will.
So then it fades out. Common reason for different AIs that would combo for one but not the other. I didn't need to include character in that. That was my mistake.
Both reading from the same data, so they'll both use back air.
And then
But Mythra
this was entirely unnecessary. It's like playing a note on 2 different instruments. When I was editing this, so I spent about a good week just editing this video, because this was actually the first one that I made before Steve and Minmin. I did not feel like I was properly explaining this concept at all, and in retrospect, I actually was. So this was totally unnecessary.
interprets that data differently because of her different AI algorithm. Make sense?
I asked the question of a viewer, it makes sense, right? That gets a little bit of a mental response out of them, so I can sort of, electrocute your brain for just a second, and that way you keep up your interest in my video. Now, how to actually train the Pyra Mythra Amiibo. This is the shit that people got here for. You'll notice, in 1 minute and 39 seconds, I delivered on my promise. Okay, I did. I delivered on the promise. So, I also have the Little Mac soundtrack. Everybody associates that with training. Every Nintendo fan ever associates that with training. Okay? But it's also, if you listen before, okay? Let me turn this up. You'll have to listen to it over my voice.
Same way Mythra will. They're both reading from the same data, so they'll both use back air. But Mythra interprets that data differently because of her different AI algorithm.
So that soundtrack is from Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. It's the Excess Express at dusk. It's sleepy. It's a little bit relaxed. It gets you relaxed. Then, I actually have it fade out, I think. And then I punch you in the face with a trumpet. Trumpets are attention getters. I should know. I played the trumpet in high school.
Knowing this, let's get to your Mythra Amiibo.
Now, knowing this, let's get to your Mythra Amiibo. You're feeling prepared. You're like, okay, I have the info I need. Now we're getting to it. It's going to keep you watching.
I spent a lot of time charting out the AI
Ha 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 ha, SpongeBob. Oh look, a GIF that showed up, and it's a funny meme, Patrick Star, Doc, Mythra AI paths.
paths and labbing this amiibo. So, show some appreciation and subscribe, eh?
SpongeBob memes are like universally enjoyed by everybody. So if you just throw one in there, and then here's the thing that you missed, okay? This is the subconscious part. Listen.
Now I spent a lot of time charting out the AI paths and
I spent a lot of time charting out the AI paths, which is what you see right here. That's me doing you a favor, right? I charted the AI paths for you. You're welcome, fuckhead.
labbing this amiibo. So, show some appreciation and subscribe, eh?
Show some appreciation and subscribe. That's me giving you something and then asking you for something. That's what that is. That's me saying, please subscribe, right? So what were we at, minute 49? So earlier, I hit you with the sales pitch of, hey, go watch
our general amiibo training guide, and if not,
go watch my other video. I structured this whole video so that you have to watch this video first. Here's the reason why that's important. That is super duper important because when YouTube sees somebody watching multiple videos from the same creator in a row, that sets off alarm bells. If you can get somebody to watch 3 of your videos in a row, YouTube is going to show that to them forever. For freaking ever. Okay? So the long-term plan of this is that, okay, you click on this video. Instead, you say, oh, shoot, I got to go back and watch this video. You watch this video. You watch Pyra, Mythra. And then when part 2 comes out, because the Amiibo is actually released, you think, I liked these 2 videos. Let's watch part 2. And then you watch part 2. Well, YouTube thinks, oh, shit. He just watched 3.
Yes, let's get to your pick.
He just watched 3 Amiibo Doctor videos, most of the way through, or all the way through. Dude, this guy loves Amiibo Doctor. And he's going to be a return viewer whether he likes it or not. That's how that's going to happen. And guess what? He's going to get familiar with the fact that, oh, the rainbow border means it's an Amiibo Doctor video. Because that's how I'm doing my thumbnails now, right? So not only is that going to increase my retention across videos, that's also going to increase the brand awareness. That's going to increase my click-through rate. Because anytime somebody sees a video with a rainbow border, they think, Doc. That's how that works, okay? It's sneaky as fuck. I haven't been able to implement this yet, but there's a reason that my subscriber count is it's not tripling, but my subscriber rate of gain is tripled from where it was a month ago. It's because I started doing this.
Mythra Amiibo. Now, I spent a lot of time charting out the AI paths and labbing this Amiibo.
And here's the thing. Partially, I'm manipulating you, the viewer, and I'm partially manipulating YouTube at the same time. Because I know that YouTube has that 3 video thing, right? So I'm trying to convince you to watch 3 videos so that YouTube likes it.
So, show some appreciation and subscribe, eh? We've got videos coming for all the upcoming Amiibo files.
And then, of course, here's a funny moment. Subscribe, damn it. It's the TF2 cast. If you like Team Fortress 2, you know what this is. If you don't like Team Fortress 2, it doesn't matter. But this also serves the secondary purpose. Because listen to what I say.
Subscribe, eh? We've got videos coming for all the upcoming Amiibo fighters.
Hit you with the subscribe. We've got videos coming for all the upcoming fighters. So maybe you're not really that big a fan of Pyra Mythra, but maybe you like Min Min. Why? Because you need your head examined. But maybe you like Min Min. Okay? So you're thinking, damn, I really want to see Min Min. Well, guess whose video is probably going to show up on the side? Mine. Because I'm doing this the same way that I'm doing the other videos. They're going to be titled the same way. They're going to have similar metadata, like YouTube tags and stuff, right? So if you like Pyra Mythra, well, how about this other video that was released by the same guy on a similar topic around the same time? After the fact, once I've released videos for all of these, I'm actually going to put them all on a playlist so that YouTube recognizes, oh shit, these videos go together. And so maybe you don't go see Amiibo Training 101, but maybe you go see Min Min, right? And then I get you on 2 videos. Maybe I can't even get you for all 3, but I can get you on 2, and that still makes it more likely to get shown. And if you like Team Fortress 2, you like the joke, you keep watching.
I have 3 universal recommendations for Mythra Amiibo.
3, listen to this one more time.
I have 3 universal recommendations for Mythra Amiibo.
3 universal recommendations for Pyra. Okay, what do people learn things with? They learn things in 3s, right? You've got a dick and 2 balls, right? 3s. I don't know what that had to do with anything. Point is, when you're teaching somebody something, you teach them in 3s. You teach them 1, 2, 3. You don't teach them 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck 4. You teach them 3. Okay? Now, there really, realistically, was a 4th thing that I should have included, and that was offstage stuff, but I didn't. Why? Because I needed 3s. So, at this point, I'm saying this because I just hit you with a subscribe. Retention typically drops after a subscribe hit, so I'm trying to keep everybody on board, because sometimes people are 1 or 2 seconds late.
Amiibo fighters. I have 3 universal recommendations.
Universal recommendations. It applies to you. right?
or Pythra Amiibo. Doesn't matter if it's competitive or raid boss.
Oh, look, I just hit you with a raid boss recommendation coming in a later video. Not only does that prevent people from asking me about raid bosses, which is really annoying, it also means, hey, there's other stuff that raid bosses can do. Because if you're realistically, okay, most Amiibo trainers train for raid bosses. That's what they do. Sorry, give me like 30 seconds. My voice is getting hoarse. Okay. So, you're definitely training for raid bosses. All right. Realistically, that's why people are going to train. If you're watching this video, and if I'm successful in pulling you away from Choctopus, Little Z, whoever else, you're interested in raid bosses. Well, if raid boss recommendations are coming in a later video, well, gee, I should pay more attention to this guy, right? That sort of primes people. So at this point, you're expecting 2 videos to show up in the sidebar. You're expecting part 2 or a raid boss or both. Okay? But either way, that keeps your attention on me.
These 3 things absolutely have to be followed.
Absolutely have to be followed, which means you absolutely have to pay more attention and keep watching.
First, don't teach it to switch.
Oh, look, number 1, don't switch, right? I've got a little graphic.
First, don't teach it to switch.
It's sequential.
Second, forward smash is a must.
Forward smash is chef's kiss, right? Mwah, right? And then the third one,
side
blazing end, is chef tonguing, okay? So if you're smart, you're absorbing this information faster than I can put it out. You're probably not smart if you're watching Amiibo content on YouTube. No offense, YouTube watchers generally turn off their brain when they watch content, okay? So I typically don't have a problem with putting out enough information let me rephrase that. You're probably not absorbing the information faster than I can put it out, okay? But if you are, you're going to get bored faster. So in this case, and in previous cases, like with the TF2, like with the SpongeBob, like with... Did I include other jokes? Somewhere in here. I guess I didn't yet. 2 girls, 1 ship. There we go. Like with some of the other jokes, okay, I'm giving you that little bit of extra information. I'm saying, hey, here's a joke, but right? And if you catch it, funny. That's why I used to do those frame 1 jokes that make you stop and like rewind through the video, where I would have some wisecracker insult included. And I still do that to a degree because they're funny.
First, don't teach it to switch. Second, forward smash is a must. And third, side special, also a must.
Boom. Sequential. Right there. I held on. I literally in this section, okay, all I did, how to actually train the Pyra. I didn't even tell you how to actually train it. I told you I was going to tell you. So you're primed and ready to...
Knowing this, let's get to your Pythra Amiibo. Now, I spent a lot of time charting out the AI paths and labbing this Amiibo. So, show some appreciation and subscribe, eh? We've got videos coming for all the upcoming Amiibo fighters. I have 3 universal recommendations for Pythra Amiibo. Doesn't matter if it's competitive or raid boss. These 3 things absolutely have to be followed. First, don't teach it to switch. Second, forward smash is a must.
Okay. So now I'm breaking it down into 1, 2, 3. So you're at part 4, no switching, where I explain why you shouldn't switch. Okay. The thing is, I have spent probably 30 to 40 seconds of these 2 minutes and 12 seconds thus far plugging my own content. Literally just plugging it. But it all has a reason. Okay. The first one, we're going to assume that you have the knowledge in this video. Right. The second one, there's a lot of new theories. So check part 2 for more theories, right? Later, hit you with it again, hit you with the subscribe, and then, subscribe again. And then the raid boss. I've plugged myself 4-5 times now at this point, but all of them had a reason to except for the subscribe ask. Okay. That's the thing. And people are used to the subscribe ask being sort of injected into a video, so they don't really mind it that much. Big YouTubers do it, so little YouTubers should too, right? But see, the thing is, I didn't put that at the beginning. I put that a third of the way through the video. Most ads in videos come 30% of the way through. And the reason that they do that is because of the fact that people are sort of invested by that point. If you're still watching 30% of the way in, you're going to watch it to the end. So the fact that I'm telling you, hey, subscribe, good, right? The other best place to put it is 7 minutes in, because people tend to really decide if they like your stuff 7 minutes in. Okay, where are we? Oh, right, sequential. So now I barely tickled your balls just a little with how to train it, right? And if you quit there, okay, you give me 30-something% retention. But and it actually, I did, what was the retention? Like 50%? It was about 3 minutes in. I've already got the retention that I wanted out of you, realistically. The rest of this is just bonus, right? So part 4, no switching. Here's the thing, as soon as this showed up though, right?
And third, side special, also a must.
Boom, what was that like?
Side special, also a must.
One Mississippi. Yeah, so you get 1 second to absorb what I'm saying before I hit you with the sequential.
Usually when people think of Pyra and Mythra, they think of switching.
Usually when people think of, I just realized I never VidNet blurred this one. Usually when people think of Pyra and Mythra, they think of switching, right?
Usually when people think of Pyra and Mythra, they think...
Typical intro. They think of switching.
Or they think of...
Oh, hold on for a sec, pink guy. Or they think of, take a guess, right? That is a thirst trap, but it's also sort of a meta joke. The adults that are watching this are going to think it's funny because it's like, yeah, ha, you got me. And if you're really adult, you remember pink guy, okay? If you pay attention, this one was just for my own humor. I put a pink guy cameo in all of my videos, and all my guides at least. The Min one is pretty funny. But Sephiroth is going to be... I've already decided what the Sephiroth one is going to be, and it's fucking great. Anyway, it's so jarring, okay? I actually gained viewers after this, because people, like, rewind, and they're like, what the fuck is that?
Think of switching. Or they think of...
It's so jarring to go from, waifu to 2 guys in straw, I guess that's grass, in bodysuits, and one of them's choking, and this guy's making a D's nut. It's so weird, which is also why I love Pink. D's nuts, right? But then also the D's nuts joke, or they think of D's nuts. Got him, right? He makes the joke for me so that I don't have to. That's the best part.
Mentioned before how Pokemon Trainer had multiple...
Now, compare this. There's another joke. Where's Pokemon Trainer? There it is. Pokemon Trainer 1, 2, 3, right? You've seen this before. So I could do 1, 2, 3 again. Or I could do 420. That adds just a little bit of humor. Okay?
And multiple AI reading off the same behavior data, just like Pythra. Pokemon Trainer also has a switching mechanic, and...
Oh yeah, by the way, music choice. Let me go back to that. No switching, right? So you've got...
Side special, also a must.
What was it? What was it? Wii Shop channel? Was that right?
Great boss. These 3 things absolutely have...
Oh, I'm sorry. It was Little Mac theme, yeah. So you go from Little Mac theme, which is training, right? To then the Tetris theme.
Must. Usually...
Volume drops down again, right? So now... you go from training to something a bit more puzzling, a little bit more technical, right? That's the Tetris theme. Okay. Aside from just being a hip beat, I got that one from Tetris 99. It also sort of conveys the theme of the section, which is switching.
Trainer also has a switching mechanic, and its Amiibo AI handled that by simply switching randomly, or if it needed to recover.
Did you catch that? See if I can time this right.
Randomly. Or if it needed to recover.
Oh, damn it. Oh, well.
Randomly. Or
there we go. One frame joke. Now, the one frame jokes have a purpose. Aside from just making you think, what the hell was that? And wanting to go back and rewind it. YouTube doesn't actually measure how much time you spend. Or, I'm sorry, it doesn't measure what portion of the video you spend watching. It measures how much time you spend on it. Okay? This is new. This is something they added with YouTube Shorts. So, if you watch a video, slow it down to 0.25 speed, and still watch to the end, okay, it'll register that as 400% retention. Well, what I'm trying to get people to do, I'm trying to get people to catch that and be like,
or if
what? And then take 5-10 seconds extra to frame back through it and find the 420 blaze it joke.
Or if it needed to recover.
And then you've got some reading, which is always kind of weird to me because there's a lot of yada, yada, yada. This part right here is pointless.
Or with chars.
What I should have done in this section, the 420 joke is fine, but I should have made this its own image.
AI reading off the same behavior data.
It's AI reading off the same behavior data. I should have taken the earlier one with the two Amiibo reading from the same one.
Just like Pythra.
And then I should have had like a Pokemon Trainer version of that, equating the two.
Pokemon Trainer also has a switching mechanic, and its Amiibo AI handled that by simply switching randomly, or if it needed to recover with Charizard's third jump and was currently using.
In this case, I should have had like a screenshot or like a GIF or something. This is just where time comes into play of like Ivysaur trying to recover and then having to switch to Charizard to recover, right? I mean, that I would just need to screen record like 10 seconds and just include that.
Ivysaur. Pythra's AI.
Okay, right here.
Pythra's AI.
Oh, there we go.
Jump and was currently using Ivysaur.
Dead time. You don't really want dead time. It's useful on the title cards, right? Because you can get the new beat. You can, once you hear the new beat when it's loud, you can hear it in the background of my voice, right? But dead time, not good.
Pythra's AI seems to handle switching in a similar manner. While I can't tell for sure if it's random, it certainly doesn't happen often if you don't switch a lot in training. In fact, the only...
Okay, so tops, I had... What is this?
Pythra's AI seems to handle switching in a similar manner. While I can't tell for sure if it's random, it certainly doesn't happen often if you don't switch a lot in training. In fact, the...
So I went 8.5 seconds without something for you to look at. Which is why I have this B-roll footage in the background. Because you're watching the Steve Amiibo fight, which is also probably interesting in its own right.
AI seems to handle switching in a similar manner. While I can't tell for sure if it's random, it certainly doesn't happen often if you don't switch a lot in training.
That's why you need B-roll footage. Because my voice is not interesting. It's just not. Yours probably isn't either. Okay?
In fact, the only time I could reliably predict that the Amiibo would switch was when Pyra was too far out from the stage to recover, but Mythra's recovery would have worked.
So then, right here, I'm showing you the first image. The first one is actually just for retention. It's the same situation, right? It's just to keep you watching.
In fact, the only time I could reliably predict that the Amiibo...
Especially because as a Smash player, you intuitively know...
In fact,
when you see a hit like this, right? And you see... high percents, you're like, oh, that looks like...
The only time I could reliably predict that the Amiibo would switch was when Pyra was too far...
So then that dies, right? And then this one...
out from the stage to recover, but Mythra's recovery would have...
Mythra's recovery would have worked. Well, look, it didn't work. And then, but it doesn't always work, as you can see here, right? So this whole time, my main focus is just proving that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because this is going to get a lot of new viewers when the Pyra Mythra Amiibo come out. Okay? And people are going to say, Amiibo Doctor's fucking stupid. He's annoying. That's fine. I'll prove to you that I know what I'm talking about. Show, don't tell. Right? Unfortunately, because this is a video, I have to explain what's happening. So it becomes show and tell.
Worked. The Amiibo would then switch from Pyra to Mythra and recover. The reason you want to avoid switching is...
So I've told you what happens.
Switch from Pyra to Mythra...
Switch from Pyra to Mythra and recover, which you just saw.
And recover.
The reason, okay, if, then, because.
The reason you want to avoid switching is because Pyra is simply the...
I really should have made this one a graphic, honestly. Or, like, kept these two here, but then like made this a graphic, that would have looked better instead of just big ass text boxes. And that's not a mistake that I plan to make again. Probably A to A plus to your character, crazy KO power damage, great vertical. One of the things that this serves, though, is that this proves that I do know what I'm talking about. Because these are my research notes. Okay? So if you're thinking, man, you're full of crap, you're looking at something like this. You're looking at a breakdown of the character, right? It doesn't take much to convince people that you know what you're talking about. If you've ever seen Xe and Vault Amiibo guides, which are like super bare bones and typically just stolen information, okay? It doesn't take a lot to convince people that you know what you're talking about. You just have to restate the elements of something, and then they think, well, that guy knows a lot, right? That's all they do. My guides, not much more than that either. We have AI problems, but otherwise it's basically the same.
Better character of the two. If you scan in the Pyra amiibo and the amiibo doesn't switch often,
this is the worst part, and this is the part that caused people to click off. Are you ready?
You have more time on average with one of the best characters in the game. Mythra's not bad.
Way too much text, okay? This purely for decoration, right? Much like Pokemon Trainer, if you scan Pyra, let's start as Pyra. If you scan Mythra, let's start as Mythra. This makes Pyra the meta option. You do more damage in the beginning. I could have simplified this into, we'll say like a Pyra amiibo figure, arrow, Pyra character, Mythra amiibo figure, arrow, Mythra character, and then like text just like PT. And then I could have had an asterisk, Pyra is better because you do more damage in the beginning. That's all. Wouldn't have needed to put this much text in front of your face. Notice the text, it's all the same font, but okay, fine, we'll not do that. It's all the same font, but it's differently sized. It's kind of hard to read. Bauhaus 93 black on white, not that easy to read.
She's got a lot more built-in combos and can hold her own, but Pyra's really where matches are going to be won.
So if you're reading this, okay,
characters in the game. Mythra's not bad. She's got a lot more.
You're missing the fact that Mythra's not bad. Because for whatever reason, I felt the need to explain this totally unrelated like amiibo scanning mechanic while I was explaining that Mythra's not bad. Okay. The Mythra's not bad info is more important than whatever the hell I was saying here.
Built-in combos and can hold her own, but Pyra's really where matches are going to be won.
But I'm not 100%. Okay, now here we go, right here. Sequential, part 5, the third Belmont. What do you mean the third Belmont, right? I also switched to the Demon Star soundtrack, which is much more Castlevania sounding, but it's not actually Castlevania, so I don't have to worry about copyright.
When I first started considering Pyra as an amiibo, one thing stood out to me. She was like a mix of Pokemon Trainer and the
Right here, I've already shown the Pokemon Trainer graphic twice. You don't need to see it again a third time. So instead, text, you've seen Pokemon Trainer enough to know what he looks like, plus Simon, Richter, and Chad Belmont, right? If you like memes, you like Chad. If you read fast, that's fine, you'll read it. Joke is the third Belmont.
She was like PT for the reasons we already said, but she
was like PT for the reasons we already said, because I'm not going to restate what I already said. There's no point. Like, if you keep repeating yourself, people aren't going to watch that shit. And to be fair, I did repeat myself and compare to PT far too much in this video, but fair enough.
It was also almost a
Shouldn't have done that.
superior version of the Belmonts. See, in competitive...
This right here, second worst option. So many people stopped watching after this. For the uninitiated, in competitive amiibo, the intended playstyle of a character is irrelevant. Amiibo have such weird and counterintuitive AI, yada yada yada. Okay? These are like 8-syllable words that I'm trying to force you to read off of Bauhaus 93 and against a white background. This looks like shit. This looks like actual garbaggio. Which is why in the Steve video, let me pull up the Steve. Actually, let me not. In the Steve video, you'll notice I switch between fonts. I have a similar one that's skinnier, not as round, much, much easier to read. I use that a lot in Min as well. Okay? So, I learned my lesson from Pyra, right? Also, I should have like done sentence breaks. Amiibo have such weird and counterintuitive AI. That looks like Al, right? This is just a bad font for heavy reading. It's a good font for logos, very recognizable. It's a good font for like a phrase. It's It's not good for heavy reading.
Amiibo. The Belmont Amiibo actually work best when they don't use any projectiles at all.
In addition, reading takes priority over I think I said that earlier, but reading takes priority over voice. So you're missing why I'm talking about the Belmonts.
Amiibo AI doesn't handle projectiles very well, and Belmont's forward tilt is just too useful of a move to not spam. Pythra's the same.
I also, small edit here, I also should have had this background come up with the text and then leave with the text, because it just
to not spam.
Text drops.
Pythra's the same way.
It just dies.
Just like the Belmonts.
My music balance here was a little bit too loud as well.
Pyra has a forward smash that has crazy.
The reason I included this, okay, look at this.
The forward smash.
Blink right there. Forward smash. It's a good diagram. It's basically a diagram is what this is. All right. Diagram of forward smash.
That has crazy range.
Crazy range. Boom. There's your range.
Long windup.
20 frames of windup, 4 frames of hitbox.
And can be used for a variety of situations.
Ha ha ha, funny meme image with Pyra stock icon and then text. This is actually the only time in this video that I have text that's not outlined because it's a meme. All right? Memes do not have effort put into them, just like Generation Z. So in order for it to be a relatable meme, no shadow, no effort, no outline, none of that.
Also like the Belmonts, Pyra has a forward tilt that works like a...
Oh, by the way, you'll also notice text.
Also like the Belmonts, Pyra has a forward tilt that works like a miniature version of forward smash.
This was funny, but I didn't need to put this in.
Smash. You might be thinking, hey Doc, this move isn't nearly as good on Mythra. Why use it? Good question.
And then like right after. So basically, from the end of this, not from the end of that, from the end of this.
Used for a variety of situations. Also like the Belmonts, Pyra has a forward tilt that works like a miniature version of forward smash. You might be thinking, hey Doc, this move isn't nearly as good on Mythra. Why use it? Good question. Mythra actually has built-in follow-ups out of forward tilt.
So this also should have been a graphic. I basically went 17 seconds without giving you anything to look at. You could read some of the shitty text, but otherwise, no, nothing. So don't be afraid to sort of make it into a PowerPoint video if you're trying to make a guide. If you're going after a different format, like something that's hype, I don't know what to tell you, but images, not a bad idea, right? This also should have been a bulleted list at the very least.
So she's not a lost cause either. And Mythra needs to have KO power as well, so we'll stick with forward smash.
The new audio, Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, battle theme, everybody knows it, right? This is sort of a funny sequential. I call it, yada, yada, yada. This is actually just me rubbing it into the competitive scene that, ha, 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 you can't say that your research is original because I said it a year before you did.
Now, I've been predicting Amiibo for a long time.
That's me being facetious, but if you think I'm a bad person, you'll take that literally, and I'm pretty sure some people did. It's kind of funny.
And I always end up correct in the long run.
I always end up correct in the long run. Frame one gag, more or less LMAO.
Always end up correct in the long run.
Right? It's because I'm not taking it that seriously. And detachment is popular, okay? If I'm trying to demonstrate to you, hey, it doesn't really matter to me that much, so I kind of fucked it up. So what? Who cares?
In this case, I predicted that Pyra's side special was going to be crazy good in this video. Side special was going to be crazy good.
Right? Notice how I said that? Crazy. The way that I write my videos, so I train the Amiibo. I take training notes, okay? And those training notes actually end up on the website later. But then I write a script based off those training notes. And I start at the beginning of the script and I go to the end of the script. I record myself reading the script, okay? When I record myself reading the script, I record it like I'm teaching it to a 5-year-old. Because I am. That's you. You're 5. How does it feel? The reason I do that is because 5-year-olds need crap all the time to keep them interested. That's why they love video games and not Lego. Now, they do eventually love Lego if they're more creative, but generally they prefer video games because video games have flashing lights and action. Okay? Voice is the same way. There are monotonous ways to say things, and then there's super hype, oh my god, ways to say things. All right? If you've ever wanted to know the difference listen to like an old monotonous professor. Just Google like old monotonous professor speech or something like that. And then like listen to good Smash tournament commentary. Okay? There's a difference. Be the commentary. Don't overhype things. Okay? You're not Mr. Beast, but have some flow to your voice.
In this video from last April.
Got the thumbnail. 3 S-tier amiibo moves, proving, yeah, I talked about it. Also, fun fact, I made that video in 2 hours, and I was, by the way, there's that amiibo thing again, just in case you're wondering. Fun fact, I made that video in 2 hours, and I was half awake. Keeps you reading, a little bit of a funny point, ha ha ha.
Side special was going to be crazy good in this video from
add some personality in this video, sprinkling
last April. Well, I was right. Blazing End is a multi-hit projectile. If you know your amiibo history...
Now, right here, I very strategically use the phrase multi-hit projectile. It's a phrase, I don't think I coined the phrase, but I'm the one who applies it to amiibo all the time. Nobody else does. This is literally like a good chunk of this is just me me sort of taking jabs at people who are probably going to watch this and be like, well, he's sucks.
Crazy good in this video saying, from last April.
I predicted it.
Well, I was right. Blazing End is a multi-hit projectile. If you know your amiibo history,
if you know your amiibo history, which is to say if you've been around as long as I have.
You know that multi-hit projectiles have a...
This is me saying PK Fire, right? PK Fire.
Projectiles have a
divisive impact. A little bit of backstory here. So, right after the pandemic started, okay, couple of trainers, I forget exactly, I think there was actually several of them, but several trainers were confident that PK Fire was super broken. So they tried to enter Nest to every tournament. At the time, USAC Sual didn't exist. It was just Exian, right? So Exian basically abused staff powers and banned the people who had been pushing for a Nest ban. Just totally banned them. No explanation given. Just like that, right? And so me saying...
multi-hit projectiles have a divisive impact on the meta, we'll say.
If you don't know anything about that, okay, you're just going to see that...
history, you know that multi-hit...
Nest PK Fire is annoying. It's a multi-hit projectile.
Projectiles have a...
divisive impact. Funny Nest.
Divisive impact on the meta, we'll say. In this...
Right. If you don't know that, you're just gonna get the idea that Blazing End is good because it's a multi-hit projectile, and multi-hit projectiles have a history. That's it.
Case, while Blazing End is probably not going to KO anyone due to its terrible launch angle, it's the...
Put the arrow in just to depict the launch angle.
The perfect move for regaining control of the...
By the way, reading, it's the worst launch angle in history, sequence 1.
Stage, and putting the amiibo opponent...
But it covers so much ground, sequence 2.
In a disadvantaged state. The disadvantaged state is huge for amiibo. If your amiibo can prevent opponents from coming back to the stage, it can score an easy KO. This move makes that up.
Right here, I should have formatted this text better. This is okay how it is, having the 2 GIFs, but like, it should have been formatted better. Block text, well, maybe not block text, but some indentation on text is typically better than this weird, long line, skinny line, middle line formatting.
Piece of cake for Pyra. Oddly enough, Mythra doesn't seem to use her side special at all.
By the way, aside from the fact that I
easy KO,
got some research wrong,
this move makes that a piece of cake for Pyra.
This is totally unrelated to what I'm talking about.
Oddly enough, Mythra doesn't seem to use her side special at all.
Mythra doesn't use her side special at all.
My Pyra uses Blazing End.
So then, I got it wrong, but because of the way the software works, you can't really put in pre-record stuff very easily. So I basically had to go back and say, fuck, I got it wrong. So I used a different font that actually stood out and was interesting, red background, all that jazz, and then a GIF proving myself wrong.
A lot. Mythra has never ever used her equivalent. Instead, when she's in range of her...
And then I turn it into a plug for part 2.
Her side special, she'll opt for neutral special, which I also taught them. This is pretty unheard of in Amiibo. The developers have gone out of their way over the years to make sure that Amiibo that couldn't use moves got AI patches allowing them to do so.
All this Ganondorf did was just keep you reading.
Use moves.
It tells you, it gives you a little nugget of information. Oh, there's a Ganondorf up tilt glitch. If you've trained Ganon, you know what it is. If you haven't, you don't.
Got AI patches allowing them to do so. Ultimately, this means you can train your Mythra to use side special, and there's no downside because you don't have to worry about how Mythra will use it, so long as the AI doesn't get patched with the figures.
Ultimately, what I should have done, I should have just scrapped that section of the video. Like, literally just cut it out and just said, Blazing End is great because it's great on Pyra, it's great on Mythra, yada, yada, yada.
Actually release. That's happened before, but only once.
Then right here, in conclusion, further information, that's the Mario Kart Double Dash end of race theme, right? People associate with the endings of things, the happy credits. Pretty much everybody stops watching right here. I go from about 50% retention to 30% on the line. Well, maybe it's like 40 to 20 or something like that. In conclusion, plus further information in case you want to keep watching.
That's the big picture of Pyra and Mythra Amiibo.
That's the big picture of Pyra and Mythra Amiibo. Okay? That's the summary line.
If you'd like to learn about a lot of the smaller aspects.
And then the last plug. I actually had to write the research notes before finalizing the video so that I could get a screenshot and show it.
Aspects of the AI that I've discovered, such as the Mythra specific.
This is actually the text I was talking about earlier that I included in the Steve and Min video. This is really good text right here. Much more readable, right? That's the website plug right there. I typically shy away from plugging the website unless I just include it in the description or I include it, quietly with the subscribe thing,
Different combos in the AI and how the Amiibo responds to shield breaks. I've got a companion post for you at amiibodoctor.com. Just check the description.
No goodbye. Just check the description, last instruction, and then gone, right? The reason that you want to do that is because you're guaranteed to lose retention in your conclusion, okay? Which is why some videos don't even have a conclusion, right? So for me, fuck it. No conclusion. Right? No conclusion at all. So, but all I did correctly in this video compared to ones that I did before I quit in July, I just used my tools. It's the exact same program. It's the exact same photo editing software. Okay. I did a voiceover instead of insisting on being on screen. And I followed a sequence and structure. And I just used the tools in the Animatica program. Motion, drop shadow on text, drop shadow on images in the image editor, having some clips in there, here and there, like, these clips right there, doing video overlays, GIF overlay. I actually already did GIF overlays. Where's that one with, yeah, there it is. Mythra recovery, right? Doing some of those to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Like literally as you're training your Amiibo, like as I train my Amiibo at least, anytime I'm thinking about, I might want to include that in something, I actually write down, so I save the replay, and then I write down the level, the character that I was playing as, if I'm like leveling them up, and the timestamp up here on what they did, right? So for this one, I would have written Mythra Marth 452 doesn't recover successfely. And then I just plug in my capture card, I screen cap it, and then I take the video file and I just on there, and I let it. Did I let that one play twice or once?
You don't switch a lot in training. In fact, the only time I could reliably predict that the Amiibo would switch was when Pyra was too far out from the stage to recover.
Yeah, so that one I only let play once. But the second one here,
Amiibo would switch was when Pyra was too far out from the stage to recover, but Mythra's recovery would have worked.
Oh, that's right. So I only let you.
The Amiibo would then switch
that
from
one up because I had the warning of it coming up ahead of time. Typically, I show it twice. But since we had two video clips showing once and we had a warning, I was like, all right, whatever, it'll be fine. So, yeah, that's basically it. So it's the way that I edit. Once I think I'm done with the video and I think I've got everything, I export it at like really low quality, and I come back the next day and I basically do this. And 90% of the video is typically fine. And then 10% of the video I need to change, like, oh, I need to put motion on that, or I need to include a GIF here, or I need to do something there. Don't get married to your own content, okay? because it's not going to be that good anyway. But there's the thing about Amiibo content on the internet, it's totally and completely dominated by everyone else in the fucking world. All right? Nintendo Life dominates Amiibo content websites. So does the subreddit. The trainers dominate on YouTube, right? There is just no wiggle room. So don't get your hopes too high up there. You know what I'm saying? I'm 3.5 years into this. I'm only just now getting good at video editing, and I just hit 3,500 subs. Okay? Could be some sort of miracle where my videos take off and I get like 1 million, or I don't fucking know. But not going to happen, realistically. So, that's about it. That is... How long has this been going? Damn, 1 hour and 10 minutes. All right. That's my review of my 6-minute video.